What's up, guys? I'm LQ. This is the LQ Review. Thank you so much for joining me right here at my YouTube channel. This is where we talk about all the geeky, nerdy stuff that we love to talk about. Movies, video games, comic books, and TV shows. And right now, I want to talk about Titans Season 3. And honestly, why I started to lose interest in Titans during Season 3. Now, just to be clear, I have been a huge proponent of the Titans TV series. Season 1 was very good. Very good. By the time Season 2 was over, I was telling people it was my favorite comic book TV show. And I stand by that. At the end of Season 2, Titans was my favorite comic book TV show. Season 2 had some great stuff in it, especially the evolution of Dick Grayson's Robin into Nightwing and Deathstroke. Season 2 had some really good stuff. So when we were going into Season 3, and Season 2 also had Superboy, had the promise of a Blackfire face-off in Season 3. There was some great stuff in Season 2. So going into Season 3, obviously I was really excited. Here's my problem with Season 3. Now, you got a bunch of your nerds who are like, which I say that affectionately, I'm a nerd too, alright? But you got a bunch of your nerds who are like, well, it just became too much of a Batman show. Alright, let's back up for a second. There are characters in this show who are extremely Batman-centric. Obviously Nightwing, obviously Jason Todd, but then you start looking at some of the supporting characters. You know, Batman has a history with all these characters. Not only that, but Bruce Wayne is literally in the show. So why did I lose interest? It didn't have anything to do with it becoming Batman-centric. Now, were they a little heavy-handed on it? Sure. Making Scarecrow one of the main antagonists. I didn't like this version of Scarecrow. When I think of Scarecrow, I don't think of some hairy dude who walks into the room and starts acting like he's smarter than everybody through weird sarcasm. Like that was not the version of Scarecrow that I picture in my head when I think of Scarecrow. I think kind of slender. I think very intelligent but very mad. I don't think overweight hairy dude who looks like he should be in the front row of a Rolling Stones reunion concert. That's not what I'm thinking in my head. I'm thinking something entirely different. I did not like this version of Scarecrow. And the fact that they made the Red Hood's origin so closely tied to Scarecrow, yeah, I had a problem with the whole Red Hood storyline. I really did. And, that's always a risk when you adapt a storyline that from the comics that's beloved by the fans, that took years of build-up in the comics to accomplish, and you try to adapt it in a series of 12, 15 episodes, whatever it is. How many episodes was it? Looks like 13. When you try to adapt it in that span of time without the lead up, without the work being done on the front end, it just doesn't work. And then there's components of that story that have to be taken out because of the story that's already been told. Why they made Bruce Wayne a geriatric dude in this, I don't know. That might have been their way of saying, we don't have to have Batman now, because he's old. When you take Batman out of the Red Hood storyline, when you take Joker out of the Red Hood storyline, the Death in the Family storyline is just as iconic, if not more iconic, than the Red Hood storyline. And they did it in a manner that completely did no honor. It did no honor, did no justice to the original Death in the Family storyline. And then they expect us to pick right up almost immediately with Jason's return in this Red Hood persona as some puppet of the Scarecrow. I felt like they wanted to be fan servicey, but they were in no position narratively to tell the story that they told. None of the pre-work to tell the Death in the Family or Red Hood storyline had really been done. So they wanted to tell that in season 3, so they jumped into it without worrying about any of the pre-work, and it really became sloppy storytelling. And I was a little afraid of that when I learned they were going to adapt this story, because I was like, there's too much happening. There's too much that has to be covered to adapt the story and do it justice. So instead, they got sloppy, they rushed it, and they didn't do the story any justice. There are better versions of the Red Hood storyline out there. Obviously, the comics, much better. But then you got the movie Under the Red Hood, the animated movie, far superior to this. So just for me, I'm like, why tell a subpar version of a story if you're not going to do it justice? There was other stuff that bothered me with this season. I know that, obviously, being the comic fan I am, I know that Dick and Barbara having a relationship, that's canon in the comics. That's something that should happen in this show. But their relationship didn't work for me. Their relationship didn't work for me. Their backstory didn't work for me, and their present relationship didn't work for me. It didn't feel like I didn't buy that relationship. It didn't feel organic. It didn't feel natural. And not to mention the two actors did not have much on-screen chemistry. Just that relationship also felt like, well, if Barbara Gordon's going to be in this, she has to be in a relationship with Dick. So how are we going to make this work? And for me, it didn't work at all. They tried to rush the storyline in order to fit it into where they are currently in their narrative, and it didn't work at all for me. Yeah, the Blackfire storyline, I was excited about getting Blackfire as the main antagonist of this season, and it turns out that that's not what happened at all. That's not what happened at all. I don't know why they didn't go that route. I don't know if this day and age, if you can, I don't know. Maybe you can't have a black female antagonist to a team that's mostly white people. Maybe you can't have that today. You can have a black antagonist like Killmonger, but you also have to have a black hero. Having a black antagonist with a team that's predominantly white might not work. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if that's why they went the route that they went or not, but it was horrible. Having Blackfire come into this team and get kind of adopted by the Titans, get into a relationship with Superboy, none of that worked for me. I really wanted her to be the antagonist of this season, and turns out, no, she's just another member of the Titans, guys. Let's see, what else bothered me? I'm kind of going off the cuff here, but the Donna Troy storyline, that didn't really work for me. Meeting up with Hank in the Great Beyond, the Amazon ritual to get back into the land of the living, none of that worked for me. And again, I know that some of this is comic accurate. I've read Justice League Dark, I've read Constantine, I've read The Phantom Stranger. I know, Pandora, I've read these comics. I know that some of what they were trying to do here is comic accurate. The problem is it just didn't do it justice. That's the theme of this season of Titans. Titans Season 3 did not do any of the storylines they were trying to accomplish. They didn't do them justice. And for me, what can I say? I didn't like the season, which is a bummer because I loved Season 2. I thought Season 1 was very good. I loved Season 2. And Season 3 just kind of dropped the ball. And it's ironic. They dropped the ball trying to give the fans what the fans want. What the fans really want is good storytelling. The fans want good storytelling, and the fans want... If you are going to give us fan service, which is fine. I love fan service. When that content that you're giving us that's fan servicey, I love it when it's done justice. Do it justice. And Titans Season 3 dropped the ball. So, yeah, it was a frustrating season for me, but I don't know. Maybe I'm on an island by myself. What did you think of Titans Season 3? Let me know in the comments down below. Did you love it? Did you hate it? I don't know. For me, it just didn't work. So, let me know what you think. Thank you so much for joining me right here at the LQ Review. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, and until next time, we'll see you guys later. Hey guys, it's LQ with the LQ Review. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me.